Hostiles have secured objective Charlie.
Be advised, objective Charlie has been seized by hostiles. The enemy still holds more objectives. We must take action.
Has for decades now been responsible for the failure to close gaps. Labour won't admit the truth that our entire buildings operates the Aboriginal industry has stolen from taxpayers, has failed
Move to attack the marked objective.
violence, trade, economic and social dead ends we call remote communities.
Our troops have neutralized objective Charlie.
And dysfunctional Aboriginal corporations and land councils. The truth is,
We have
these
secured
organisations
more
are only interested
objectives.
in mining their own pockets and using their power to punch down on the truly disadvantaged Aborigines, Labour spies, and the
The enemy are attacking objective Echo.
The issue of Indigenous Protected Areas, IPA, runs parallel to the matter of land rights in Australia. IPA are areas
Grab what you can.
to Aboriginal people, with volunteers and Aboriginal-led NGOs determining their importance. In many cases,
Are they... do they have gas stations marked? Culturally important places to Aboriginal people. Let's think. The gas station, the casino, and the liquor store.
these areas are closed off to white people who do not identify as Aboriginal. Unfortunately, the decision-making process relies solely on their word, without the need of formal proof. Consequently, there have been instances where businesses were compelled to close due to a cultural significance claim. Basically, anywhere they find a fish bone in the dirt, appealing such declarations and seeking independent expert assessments is currently unavailable, leaving affected parties with limited recourse. Presently, over 87 million hectares, constituting 50% of Australia's national reserve system, is designated as an IPA, and further impacts will continue. With the potential empowerment of the voice of Parliament and the Makarrata Treaty, concerns arise regarding the implications of what some view as a form of racial land privatisation. Recent government action includes an allocation of $231.5 million for the IPA program from July 2023 to June 2028. In July of this year, it was reported that tree planting work along the Canning River was halted after an Aboriginal corporation demanded $2.5 million. According to XYZ, who reported on this topic, quote, amid ongoing confusions over the implementation of Western Australia's controversial new cultural heritage laws, 2 major tree planting events in the state were cancelled this week after an Aboriginal corporation demanded $2.5 million. So you have this group who has volunteered their time and money into planting 5,000...
Put a gun in their face and say, here's your fucking money.
500 shrubs and trees along the Canning River to help with conservation efforts in this Aboriginal...
Dude, how the fuck did we go from strapping Indians on top of cannons to this shit, bro? It's just insanity. Like, bro, the British used to literally strap Indians to the front of cannons and, you know, like, launch a cannonball through their torso. So now, they're, like, literally, you know, not being able to plant trees because of, you know, Mohican natives. It's like, dude,
Attention! Our
it's just pathetic,
is in
man.
progress.
It's just pathetic.
Hostile forces are still controlling the fight. Break their hold.
Given all this stuff for free, they want $2.5 million for approval. Even though
We are targeting objective Bravo.
the most famous example of this would be Aboriginal dog painting.
Walker has been neutralized.
Jeffrey Barden, a white French artist, was assigned as an art teacher for the children of the Aboriginal
All right, our troops have captured Charlie.
noticed Aboriginal children were drawn he was telling stories. He utilised this and created his own art form, which was then popular among the Aboriginal. In time, this sort of art was considered culturally significant to Aboriginal
Take what you can carry.
contributed to their long spiritual history in Australia.
We now hold
Many
more
Aboriginals would even later sue
objectives.
non-Aboriginal
Secure our
artists for using this type of art method, claiming it was culturally insensitive to steal and appropriate their ancient craft for purposes of wrong. The most famous Aboriginal history and culture is none other than author Bruce Pascoe. Bruce Pascoe is an Australian writer and author who claims to be Aboriginal. He has written over 30 books on Aboriginal pseudo-history. It is essential to approach any historical work with dark thinking and critical thinking. When examining historical citations or their interpretations, it's crucial to consider multiple sources of evidence, scholarly research, and peer-reviewed publications.
We now control
Bruce didn't
Bravo.
do any of that. He went into the topic with a political agenda and historical bias, purposely misrepresenting evidence, sometimes even relying on fictitious work and often resorting to gross exaggerations.
They defended him against accusations of falsely claiming Indigenous heritage, even when Michael Mansell, the chairman of the Aboriginal Land Council of Tasmania, wrote last year, quote, for political reasons, journalists of the left wanted to believe Pascoe was genuine and put up the blinkers to any contrary view. Now they must eat humble pie and admit they got it all wrong.
The warning signs were there all along. The ABC...
We have lost objective Bravo.
Warnings came from the interview that had attention to former ABC journalist Kerry O'Brien last year.
There's certainly a critique in the monthly magazine that you regularly exaggerate and embellish the facts of dark interviews. Such selective quoting creates the impression of societies with a sturdiness, permanence, sedentarism and technical sophistication that's not supported by the source material.
One of the claims he made is that Aboriginal people caused this after the rain was seen to make it to 15,000 years before the Egyptians did. His evidence for this? He cites what he believes are grindstones and the pushed over bales of grass mounds. You would think that Aboriginal people who had a diet of ferritin and carbohydrates would have continued this practice and that there would be an abundance of evidence to support it. Or maybe Bruce is misrepresenting the facts in order to spin a story and sell a book. Bruce Pascoe was even promoted heavily by the ABC and other media outlets for his work in Aboriginal history, culture, and agriculture, until he was exposed as a fraud who made the whole thing up.
Dark Emu. Now, this is a beautifully grounded history, a real game changer. And pre-colonial indigenous societies actually farmed the land and had a system of democracy, which
Attention! Enemy attack is underway on Fox Drop.
Indigenous communities were so tied to the land, they built houses, they grew crops.
Let's see. So Schizo Garcia with the 5. I don't even hate abos. The most anti-abo people I've met have been abos. And a lot of the normal girls look attractive, too. The culture is horrible. Yeah, it's like the same thing as ghetto culture in the United States, bro. Like, you know, ghetto black culture in the U.S. is just buying a bunch of shit that white people make. And they call it they culture. It's like, no, it's just consumption. It's consumption and crime is basically they culture. And it's just retarded. It's fucking retarded. So, yeah, the so-called culture we need to celebrate is usually just either crime or consumption, and that's literally it.
It's not the story that we used to.
Hostile forces are attacking Charlie.
Critics like Andrew Bolton argue that Pascoe misinterpreted or exaggerated certain pieces of evidence to support his claims about Aboriginal agricultural practices. A significant PR campaign is promoting the notion that Australia's history is characterized by state-sponsored oppression and genocide of Aboriginal people. This idea seems prevalent across social media and mainstream media in various forms. It is suggested that the Australian government sanctioned ethnic cleansing, leading to the brutal murder of hundreds of thousands of innocent Aboriginal men, women and children. And some even claim the death toll to be in the millions, even though there was never millions of Aboriginals living here. It is crucial to recognise that these assertions are not supported by historical evidence. Respected historian Henry Reynolds, known for his left-leaning perspectives, has estimated the number of Aboriginal deaths to be around 20,000.
There can be no certainty about the Indigenous people. Despite the problem, it is imperative.
Well, the biggest thing with the movie industry and the whole mafia thing is not necessarily what you think it is. The idea of those mafia movies is to make you think that the mafia is Italian. Which, if you actually peel back the layers of the mafia is, you know, not exactly Italian, nor is it Catholic. You know, let's just say it's an earlier form of Catholicism, the one without Jesus. And what happens is you have those type of people who took advantage of poor Italian immigrants in order to run crime syndicates and use them as basically the fall guys. Because, you know, the Catholics without the Jesus part, you know, just so happen to also do similar operations in many other British and former British colonies, like in Canada, like in India, and in Australia, in Hong Kong, you name it. In fact, the same people were also in charge of the opium trade in China. So, you know, there's a little bit of a history surrounding those groups of people with organized crime, drug smuggling, and, you know, all those fun activities that go along with it. I mean, just look at the type of people that built Las Vegas and who own all the casinos. They were directly tied in with the mafia. So, yeah, it's not the heckin' wholesome Italian Catholic, you know, family values type crime family. A lot of people envision.
In 1981, that I should try and give some history. I felt it was a responsibility of a historian who had studied this subject to try and arrive at some reasonable estimate of the story. I said,
Take what you can carry.
the 20,000 Aborigines have died in conflict with the settlers. It was in the main
Yet, even he acknowledges that this estimation is based on a mathematical formula he devised, lacking reliable historical citations. Heath Winchell is an esteemed Australian historian, renowned for his comprehensive series of lectures and publications on Aboriginal history, notably titled The Fabrication of Aboriginal History. Through meticulous research and analysis, Winchell challenges prevailing notions surrounding the concept of Aboriginal genocide, presenting evidence that disputes its veracity.
They show how deeply this version of history has been penetrated to wider culture.
Oh, he has the white man's chirp. I just noticed that.
Our professional historians, however, are the ones who also
Enemy have secured more objectives. Let's strike back.
use of wisdom code. The accused of the court has been given custody to a farm. Both said civilians have been surrounded and killed by more than 200 Aborigines. Soldiers from nearby camp came to the rescue and shot at 3 people. One of them said 3 natives were killed, the other said 2 were killed and 1 wounded. And these officers have no offensive reason to lie or gun by the they were only doing the However, the government inquiries in 1830, a former convict testified that he thought 250 blacks had been killed in 1884, even though he admitted he had not been there for the Despite this claim being no more than a rumour, police knew about the event, and has allowed those historians who want to beat up this issue to say witnesses have claimed up to 50 Aborigines were killed. These were translated into wider culture. The defensive action is 3 hours casualties has become a massacre of 50 innocent women and children. And the Wall Street Journal claims that the bodies of assaulted down in Mississippi for anthropological investigation is another room personated in 1980 children that had no potential corroboration.
What's the white man's chirp? The activate Windows watermark down here.
This was a complete fabrication. There was no contemporary evidence supporting the claim. In fact, 30 corpses it was used until 1962, having one generation later. The known in British Times by a local amateur historian reported it as one of the oral legends of the district. Even though the story was nothing more than fake news, this did not stop it being taken up and reproduced in novels, blowing the water by the German Cruise order, and participating in battlefields by the notice by Bradley. In 1909, Jerry Colesbrook, Youngerdine, a Wiradjuri Koori, published by Robert and Tony Smith, claimed this theory as part of ancient Aboriginal tradition, and joining the school film about this from the book. The event that Forest River in 1926, described by Ben King as one of the hundreds of residents of the 20th century, has more plausibility. The Royal Commission found 2 groups, following proof for another who had murdered the passport, had themselves shot 11 natives in the country, and built all the Until recently, the historians had no good reason to doubt their findings. However, in 1999, first journalist Rob Moran and his capacity published a detailed analysis of the evidence for the group, and proved beyond reasonable doubt that no such killing took place. There were no eyewitnesses, no forensic evidence, and no ballistic evidence, no hits.
We have secured Echo.
The charred bones found at some campsites were not accumulated over a determined location. The figure of 100 dead at Forest River, cited by both Ben Hume and
Well, dude, the thing is, again, to go back to the whole mafia point, think about our current situation with real estate, especially in New York City and other places, where the majority of Italian immigrants landed. So you had these ghettos, which is what they were called, for the immigrants, which were these run-down slums, basically, where you would have just like a ton of people crammed into one room. It was the only place they could get in. You know, think about it this way. The landlords would then use the fact that the poor immigrants couldn't afford their rent to coerce them into doing illicit activities like, you know, running drugs, running alcohol, firearms, other, you know, criminal enterprises of your choice. And then in exchange for that, you know, their rent would be forgiven for the month. Now, again, you have to put it in the full context. A lot of it is not like, oh, the Sicilians just wanted to come over and fuck with the government. It's like genuinely the fact that a lot of them are basically strong-armed into it. So, especially when you consider it was happening in New York of all places.
Attack support is needed on the marked objective.
However, the movement observations of the West Australian Museum claims to be those of a survivor was never at Forest River in this period. Marine shows that the bones of human bodies beyond recognition of the wood per person. To destroy 100 bodies, the 2 police at Forest River would have to collect 250 tons of wood.
Whoa, are we talking about disposing bodies? Uh-oh. Curb your anti-Semitism, please.
In countries where the wood is almost dead. The total number of violent deaths cited by Philip Knightley, at 100,000, is another case of poor invention. The only authority to get over this fire is the book Blood on the Rock by Bruce Erler, a journalist whose normal specialty is rock and roll music.
His work critically examines the alleged invention and myths associated with this topic, aiming to provide a more accurate understanding of the historical events that unfolded upon the arrival of settlers in 1788. Winchell challenges the claim that there was a deliberate and systemic genocide of the Aboriginal population during the British colonisation of Australia. He argues while there were instances of violence and conflict, it went both ways, and it was no coordinated effort to exterminate.
We have secured more
An article
objectives.
published by the Quadrant delves into the narratives surrounding Aboriginal genocide, which have been frequently employed by Aboriginal advocates during truth-telling ceremonies and publications. The article highlights several instances where historical events have been subject to misrepresentation and mythologization. While a comprehensive review of each claim is beyond the scope of this summary, it is absolutely evident that certain purported massacres have been tracked down to fictional literature or exaggerated accounts transmitted through oral Aboriginal tradition. In this video, we delved into the complexities surrounding Australia's historical narratives, particularly those concerning alleged genocide. An earnest look into this topic reveals a deliberate endeavour to manipulate Aboriginal history, seemingly driven by political motives or intentions to discredit the nation of Australia itself. A lot of this stems back to an underlying communist agenda, which I've addressed in previous videos. A lot more can be said on this topic, which I will refer you all to the regional information I suggest all of you out there give it a read. I want to thank you all for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to share it around and check out my links in the description below.
Yeah, dude, the thing is, it's just kind of crazy, because maybe our ancestors, if they could see what they would be accused of in the modern day, would be like, well, fuck it, maybe we should have just done it, and then we wouldn't have to worry about it. I don't know, man. It's pretty crazy. You know, it's amazing how, you know, people's good intentions get twisted and, you know, used to villainize them. So you might as well become the monster they accuse you of being, is my perspective, if you've learned anything from modern history. Become the villain they claim that you are, because they're gonna villainize you anyway, so might as well give them a reason.
Enemy is gaining momentum. Hit back.
We're gonna need ID.
The true good are villainized, while the true evils are later sympathized. Yeah, exactly. But the good guys have only ever won, dude. Evil never prevails. That's what my favorite Marvel movie told me. You know, that's why Hollywood, you know, refuses to make movies where the bad guys win. Because, you know, then all of a sudden it shatters the worldview that only good prevails. Which is a fucking fantasy. That is pure fantasy. No, dude, because then they turn back time and then Thanos lost. Thanos didn't actually win, bro.
Our mission is under threat. Refocus and attack. We now control more objectives. Defend all positions.
Should do a video on stolen generation bullshit. What do you mean? I love watching Marvel movies with my wife and her bowl. I know. Dude, it's like dinner and a show. At one time, I can look straight ahead and watch the movie. And then I can look over to my right and I can watch porn. But it's happening in real life. It's great!